आज हर तरफ डिजाइन सिर्फ एस्थेटिक्स का नाम बन गया है, लेकिन किसी से पूछो क्यों बनाया, तो शायद जवाब खामोशी हो। ये पॉडकास्ट उन्हीं सवालों का कोना है जहां डिजाइन को सिर्फ देखने के लिए नहीं, समझने के लिए रखा जाता है। डिजाइन के नाम पे हर जगह फालतू आवाज है। सोचने वाला कोई नहीं, सिर्फ ट्रेंड के पीछे दौड़। ये चिल नहीं है, ये कैजुअल भी नहीं है, और ये डेफिनेटली आपका यूजुअल डिजाइन ज्ञान नहीं है। वेलकम टू डिजाइन एंड डिस्कशन।
So welcome to Design की बातें. Again we have Anshul. This is our again second podcast, Maitri, second podcast, and we'll continue making more and more podcasts together.
We'll keep on bothering.
Yeah, hammering you all the time with knowledge. सही है. So today, I don't know, it's going to be a very organic podcast the way we have done it before, but we have just kept little rule in this, but this will be like more on the side of discussion rather than I'm asking question and you're answering to those. It's better that we can make this format as a discussion, so that's why we call it like design and discussion. It called D&D. So this is a new series after Unwrap. This is D&D. Okay. So I may start with you first, or then we can jump into the topic.
Sure.
Yeah. So in this, design field, the changes are keep going on. Like it's very fast. Everything is keep changing, and the people are getting confused because of those changes. Specifically when it comes to career, people think like that. Ki, matlab, they have to do this, they have to do that in order to build their career in design space. But what is your perspective when it comes to current situation and the career scenario in design space?
I think given the pace at which things are changing, especially the technology and that influence major part of our life as a designer also, I think it's always best to stick to one thing. That's more of like, let's suppose you are a UI UX designer. Keep on learning the concepts of UI UX designing without giving any fuck about like what the technology is saying, whatever is coming out there. Though you can use ChatGPT and other tools like uh, DeepSeek to maybe speed up the whole learning process, but you can stick to one thing. And on the sites, you can, keep on evolving, keep on exploring new tools every now and then. So there is this funda called whatever you work on, like let's suppose you have joined an company or agency, whatever it is, or if you haven't joined. So from 10 to 7, from 10 in the morning to 7 in the evening, you should be working on your one mainstream thing. And after 7, you can take couple of hours. I think everyone has those 2 to 3 hours in a day where they can sit back and reflect maybe on the day and maybe look into the new things, right? At and that time is actually very crucial to keep on looking into the new things. Utilize that time to keep on diving into the new AI tools, what new content creators are talking about. There are so many content creators in our space now. Not so, but you have like good number of content creators when it comes to design. You can look into that, like what they are posting up, what new they are talking about, so that you are also kind of in sync with what industry is going towards, in which direction, right? So I think it's a mix of both. You need to stick to what your mainstream thing is, and you still need to take out some time to explore new thing. And it should be done on daily basis. It shouldn't be like मैं weekend में कर लूंगा. It shouldn't be like कि मैं month में 4 दिन निकाल के कर लूंगा. It should be done on the daily basis. So I think this is the framework that I have like personally worked upon. Keep on doing that like on daily basis. So my like day is like similar. I work on my business from 10 to 7. Then I go back, I take a break, I relax a bit. Then I sit again on my system and I like start looking into new thing, what is happening on X, LinkedIn, Instagram, and like other channels. And I think given the all the knowledge, all the content that has been created by like all the content creators and even the companies, they are also very bullish about creating content these days. Uh, I think there is still a lot to explore, but it's always better to take smaller step rather than kind of anticipating and be uh, like procrastinating about it, like I'll do everything on Sunday or Saturday.
Hmm.
So I think that's my take, like what we should be doing when we have so much of information.
Spend some time little bit every day
Yeah, yeah.
rather than planning it
Small.
for Saturday and Sundays.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that normally doesn't happen because every plan in Saturday Sunday changes. But most of the time what I see is like people are more focusing on tool rather than focusing more on career.
Mhm.
Career is different thing and tool is different thing. Definitely, you're having tool, you learn tool and you build a better career. So why people are focusing more on tool and they believe that learning tool itself is a career? I'm just putting a different perspective
Tool is
to
necessary, I think,
yeah.
for everything. But people think that if I get the best hardware for everything or best tools for everything, I'll be automatically a good designer. Which is not the case, but there is some notion there. Um, which is kind of breaking nowadays, which like talent and like value and everything is coming pretty high upfront than tools. But people always feel that if I'm behind in something, then that's the tool rather than the skills or the application of that skill,
Correct.
right?
Yeah, so like what I think on that, like why we are even saying like we are like behind in tools and not in the knowledge or subject that we should be talking about. They cannot see the complete roadmap of that subject.
Mm.
Like if you talk about any good designer in the industry, we might not understand what he knows, what knowledge he possesses, right? But we definitely know what tool he uses and what's the limitation or what's the like. How will we say like he is an Figma expert or she is an Framer expert? There are certain things, there are certain criteria, right? So we can see it very well, right? When you talk about subject, it is so in depth. Like if you talk about website development or even if you talk about design, there are a lot of laws, there are a lot of like techniques, there are a lot of ways how you should be doing certain things, right?
Correct.
And you cannot foresee or you cannot see it from a bird eye view, like जितना मुझे इसमें आना चाहिए, that's why like it is not more of like कि इसमें मुझे इन डेप्थ जाना है,
Mm.
ये मैं कंप्लीट कर सकता हूँ तो ये मैं कर लेता हूँ, एंड इफ आई एम लैकिंग इट बिकॉज मुझे टूल नहीं आते, so that is there. But another perspective that I had earlier, so I got into design because I knew some tools. कुछ आता था मुझे, शायद Photoshop, After Effects. That's why I got
It
into
can
design.
be the start point.
It can be a
Yes, good
but
good
it can
starting
be a
point.
good motivational factor as well.
Yeah.
मुझे Photoshop करना आता है, मुझे मूवी डिजाइन नहीं आता,
अप्लाई करना है उसके
Uh,
बैलेंस नहीं आता. So for me it's very easy if I can do something and I can see it upfront. मुझे लगता है कुछ कर लिया. That's why I didn't actually got into other things.
I also have some mentees who came up to me and like, where do you sketch most of your illustrations and everything, or the first brainstorming sessions? I'm like, I have an iPad, but 5 years now, the same one. Oh, which one do you have? And she started to write things and started to have like Amazon it quickly. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Do you even sketch that on your paper nowadays? It doesn't matter like if the hardware is
What hard-
but you actually apply it or use it. Right. So she's like, no, I'm not sketching. I'm gonna start sketching on paper first because I still do a lot of sketches on paper first, which I take a picture and send it to the client. So it doesn't always have to be a iPad.
So similar.
It should not be like
question.
100% digital. That's why. Yeah.
So for an illustrator like her, like a good one, uh, like do you prefer like iPad or like paper sketching?
Paper. I prefer paper. And then when I have some idea, then I put it on iPad.
This is the most common answer you will get across the artists.
I-
Like they love like sketching on paper, the feel of paper, the like that coloring and
Yeah.
sketching on paper is way like it gives you actually real experience, right?
It give you freedom from the technology and you can actually apply your brain directly on the page. When you work with a tool, you have to focus more on, अच्छा ये brush ले लेते
What
वो
can-
brush ले
what-
लेते still you're little bit distracted, I think. Even I love using paper, most of the diaries are like, and then we start working on that. So पहला तो plan paper पे ही होता है.
But the thing is, I have spoken to so many of my mentors in the illustrator industry who worked on really big brands for YouTube and Google and really big brands with the internal illustrations and everything. I have asked them, there are any specific tools that you use for it to make it easier for now on illustration purposes? Do you have like a Wacom like what companion, which the Tulac or something, Like, we don't even have a mouse. We did do it on the trackpad. I'm like, oh. And she has like a Mac Air, which is like 8 years old. Or I'm like, oh, you don't have to upgrade just because.
So people are now more focusing on getting the best gadgets, but they're not using it
I've
in that
seen
way.
juniors having, or the people who are just starting out, then having better gadgets than people are seen it.
Yeah. So सही है तो मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि कैमरा अच्छा खरीद लो तो आप फोटोग्राफर बन जाओगे फोटोग्राफी के लिए तो बैक स्टार्ट कर सकते हो डेफिनेटली या
You have your own preferences. What camera you prefer,
Yeah.
or what
later on you can decide and
are you
then
playing portraits? Or
yeah what type of photography you want to do and based on that you can choose the tool. Correct.
Tool should not be the like roadblock.
बेंचमार्क इट शुड नॉट बी बेंचमार्क कि मुझे ये टूल होगा तो ही मैं करूंगा नहीं तो मैं करूंगा नहीं या होगा ही नहीं
it definitely take you professionally ahead. Definitely. but it's not the only thing. You don't know how to use it, then that's the issue.
Correct, correct. So now those lot of time when I talk to designers, um the trend which is going on based on the interview that I have identified is that people are now want to become a journalist. Okay, and which is good. Like you should know everything in one way or other way. But at same point of time, some people want to go deeper in one subject. So what is the point that people have to decide? Ki, yeah, this is a time that they have to go deeper, and then you know so most of the time the college students which I see them, they want to go deeper from the beginning. I think that's not the right time to go deeper on any specific subject. So can you give some idea on those direction so that
I think it's like it's an individual choice.
Yeah.
Though we always say it's good to be a generalist or there should be a Y-shaped learning. When you say Y-shaped, it's more of like you have a breadth of understanding, but you are very much like deep into one or two uh, like subject. I think in colleges, what I've seen, people are a bit confused. That's why they are kind of trying everything bit every year. That's how the education
Yeah, that's
system
how it is. Yeah.
is, right? I think that is the best way to like go ahead. Like even today, if you ask like me, कि like किस चीज में expert हो, I'll say none, right? We were talking earlier also, like
Yeah.
we used to look down upon like if you are a jack of all trade and master of none. But I think the narrative is completely changed. You should be actually master of all trades, but sorry,
Jack
of
of
all
all
trades,
trades, but master
but
of
master
few.
of some.
Some.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think this ideology I also personally believe in. Like you should be kind of learning different aspect. Like whatever you are learning, let's suppose if you are a designer, you should be understanding how apps work. You should definitely get into on the tech side as well. Like what are the limitation, what are not, like what you can do, what you cannot do, and things like that. On the design side, what are the capabilities, what new design styles are coming in. If you even see from a more bird eye view, it could be more on the strategy side, it could be understanding more on marketing side, how my product will be kind of marketed to the user. So like there are multiple things that you should be looking at,
Hmm.
and you should be kind of interested in if you want to kind of broaden your perspective. Similarly, you should be kind of sticking to one thing, that's more of like design, how everything connects back to the design. I think connecting those dots, it's something that you should be looking at from a broader perspective.
I feel even early on in my career as well, when I was in college, because I did study art and design and illustrations and everything, that bubble is very different. And in that bubble, it is taught that you have to do logo design only, or there is some depth towards it in college specifically. And getting criticism on your work is not a positive thing, or people get their ego hurt. So if someone gives you criticism or something. So the first thing I do whenever I'm doing mentorship or teaching some college or institute for some couple of courses or workshops and stuff, is like your college bubble is very different than what industry is
Yeah.
expecting you all do in this world right now. So you might be able to do what you want to do, but there are going to be other people working with you with different perspectives. There are some students of mine that are like, oh, you don't get a lot of flexibility when you're working with specific kind of a client. I'm like, that's never going to happen. They have their own guidelines, and that's why branding and guidelines are set in place. So you can't always be, I'll do what I want to do because I'm very creative. Right. So one of the clients I worked with, which is very legacy client, Budweiser, and they have like one font. And people are like, how do you work on that when you have trust strict? I mean, that's the point of it. Like, that's the beauty of it.
Hmm.
When you're put in such
Constraints.
constraints, then you have to see on how your creativity works. Right. Other than 360 freedom you get, and then you can do anything.
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 Correct. Correct.
Best creativity is when you are bounded by
Boundaries guide, it's tone of voice, language, the kind of colors you use in the photographs, and like the way you edit them. It was a lot when we used to work.
Yeah, I think the best creativity comes out when there is a limitation. Yeah, then only you narrow down to a
certain
Best creativity, I would say it's challenging.
challenging. Yeah,
Facing those
just
challenges.
challenge yourself. Yeah,
So
as a designer.
here that think outside of the box.
Yeah.
You have to create a box. You need to first think within the box, then maybe bring one thing out of the box and bring within that box. That's how things work.
Even in illustration point of view and artistic point of view, we have the similar saying that knowing the anatomy to break the anatomy. So when you know where the elbow breaks and your arms break, if you don't know how that happens and if you abstract the character, it looks really weird.
Yeah.
But once you understand where the elbow breaks and where the neck starts and
And then you can start manipulating that
manipulate
from a
that's
design.
good.
Yeah.
It's like knowing the rules to break the rules is much better than just breaking the rules.
So yes, I guess. So you both are running an agency and you're working with a lot of good customers, and there are a lot of people want to start their own agency, and they have their own mindset. Specifically when the creative people start making an agency, they usually focusing more on agency, the creative side of it, but the agency need a lot of other efforts to be put in order to run the agency. So what is your personal experience of running an agency for so long, and how you maintain it, like as a designer, as a creative person at the same time?
I think running an agency is not a job of a designer.
Hmm.
So running an agency is require totally different skill set than being a designer. It takes a lot to transition from being just a designer to running an agency. It will take you couple of years. It looks like it is very glorified from the outside, but it is not. It is not as it looks. It's like most of the days you don't have the good days. Like I'll say you'll definitely reach to highest of highs, but there will be most of the days when you will be at your lowest of lows.
I do.
And if you're not signing up for the lowest of lows, right, then I don't think so you can actually stay at that peak for a longer period of time. So transitioning from a designer to an agency owner, you yesterday also we were talking about that you need to understand how sales work, how negotiation work, how the whole business is set up in
Yeah.
different way. We being a creator, so when I started and I was a like creator designer, right, I was very much particular about everything that goes out of our team, right, goes to the client, right, and used to pick each and everything, like this is not right, that is not right, give it to me, I'll correct it. But that's not how agency works, right? Obviously it depends upon your like at what scale you want to function, how fast you want to grow, how
Yep.
quickly you want to bring in the team. But the initial challenge is you don't have much money to get started with it. You don't have much people to actually help you with it. You have to do everything on your own, literally everything, from cleaning the table to designing something on like Figma. You'll do everything, even depending upon what kind of services you are kind of giving away. But you need to do each and everything on your own, right? And you don't have money. Now what will you do? Whether you will keep on doing it for a sustainable period of time where you are kind of bringing in money, saving enough money to bring new talent, and like kind of scaling it from that point. Because I have seen like people starting their agency and then like kind of shutting it down because they don't have like enough funds to bring in new team, or like enough clients to work upon. Even clients, like they cannot even charge higher, like above a certain threshold. So there are many problems that you need to look at, like when you are thinking of starting an agency. I know you can solve all these problems along the way, but having this perspective, like if I am a freelancer, I can start an agency and I'll start earning 10x or 20x of like whatever I'm earning these days. I think that's a very false hope or
I think
like
we just
expectations.
spoke
Yeah.
about this yesterday. Ki whenever I've dissolved my agency little, I earn more.
Yeah.
That's correct. So I feel even like when you said the same thing, delegation and everything, I think you have to be a really good designer to move from there to a design business. You can't just go to a design business by not knowing only design. Because I feel a lot of people who are doing startups and just business part of it, the hustle culture and everything, they're doing business and business only. Once they create the product, they don't look at it anymore. But as creators who are running a business, design business, you're also designing every day. You're coming up with concepts. You're also checking contracts and proposals on daily basis, because this client and that client might have different proposals, different types of options you might give, different discovery sessions that you might do. One proposal might not go to everybody. The amount of, even like for us illustrations as well, if I'm doing some illustrational collaborations with other companies, I have to be giving them that contract for 1 year you can use my illustrations, or you can only use it on your merch, or there are tons of different things. So learning all these skills while designing is really difficult. And I think I have like a different business model than yours. So a lot of people who come to me for me. Like, oh, Maitri is going to work on this. She has a specific style and that's why we want to go there. So for me, delegating my style is not it's not an option. So I have to design as well as do delegation with my team and check that, you say, let the quality of it and continuously keep it up. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I think the
Best way to do it,
yeah.
let's suppose if you are a good designer, you have done couple of freelance work, best way to do it, go out and look out for a partner who understand, who has some business acumen, who
Correct.
can actually build a team, who can reach out to the clients, talk to them, maybe sell your designs. You can eventually, being a co-founder or a co-partner,
You have to generate revenue at the end of
yeah,
the day. For
you have
some-
to be, you have to think it from a systematic standpoint. You cannot be like जैसे मैं कर रहा हूँ वैसे ही कर लूँगा, सबके पास मैं ही जाऊँगा, मैं ही उनका काम करूँगा, मैं ही deliver कर दूँगा, and I'll keep on convincing them कि like this is the right work for them. It's always good to have a partner whom you can delegate, like these are your responsibilities. I'm good at creative understanding. I can work on things. I can even have a team and guide them. So you can be the creative head, but you should have someone who is taking care other part of the agency operations, even HR side, taking care of the revenue streams and everything, relationship with the clients. Like again, you should have like couple of partners, I'll say then, like
Yeah, every
good
people
to
you
have
hire,
one.
they are actually partners to your company. Yeah, we have to understand that also.
So you should be very much clear about like what you are good at and what you can actually provide to the client. But if you are just going out and selling yourself and not the whole team, then you are just a freelancer.
Exactly.
And there's nothing bad in it. It's actually wonderful to work like uh, individually, because then you have the liberty. You have that kind of like as a designer, I love working in like in silos. I think she also.
Yeah.
So we love it, right? And there's nothing bad in it. It's not always about like maximizing the revenue. It's more about like whether you are enjoying the process or not. I think if you start enjoying the process of team creation, building systems, because agency is all about building systems. If you are like going ahead and selling personalized service to everyone, it's not a scalable business. First rule of the business is, first basic rule is like you have to kind of create a product. It could be a package kind of a thing where you are giving same type of service to every.
It should be easy to communicate so that people can
Easy to
understand.
communicate, easy to replicate. Then only the scalability will come in, right? And you need to have a proper system if you are creating a productized service, right? So I think these are the key aspects that we should be kind of looking at, even like when we are starting out or even before we are starting out.
Correct. I think all the founder has to be like having the mindset of holistic approach. So it's not only about learning the skills of creativity, but at the same point of time, they also have to have the holistic approach of hiring people, giving. Also, it increase the responsibility, compared to what you do alone and when you do with your team. Your team responsibility is your responsibility at the same time, because you are not only seeking your own growth, you also have the responsibility to grow your team, whether it's knowledge or whether it's money. So again,
Also giving them equal amount of creative freedom
yes.
to my team, which was one of the difficult tasks for me for the past 5 years, which was I want to give them good freedom by not me just saying, ki, oh, this is the way it should happen. I want them to be comfortable as well to come to me like, this is my idea. Can we pitch this? And can this be like the final one?
So it is like you want to define a box, but now you need to decide how big it is.
How abstract the bomb
Yes.
is. So it is difficult to kind of figure this out. And I think getting good teammates, I think definitely helps. Good designers and stuff, because design is very subjective. Illustration is way more subjective. So understanding where you overlay on your creative mindsets definitely helps.
I think agencies only survive or thrive when you have a good team.
Definitely.
You're selling your team only, right? There's nothing else. It's the work that the whole team will come together and do. I think one good way of analyzing whether you should start an agency or not can be like how good you are at taking feedbacks,
Yeah.
whether you've have even
I agree.
giving them. Like, are you good enough to kind of uh, guide a team or lead a team to the destination? That could be one. And whether you are good enough to understand what feedback client is giving in, and if you can actually articulate it and pass it on to your team and help them reach to understanding. So I think this could be a good starting point when you are in your early days in a like design career. I think like this is particularly me, but I've also seen like a couple of designers as well. We are very immature when it comes to taking feedbacks. We are very critical about those.
मतलब
We get
रिएक्शन आ रहा था तो
ऐसे कैसे बोल सकता है लाल मुझे पसंद है,
हाँ
like we get that kind of uh,
But that also happened with a client, you know, when we work with a client, sometimes client is very specific about what they want.
I think which is fine. Which is
But
fine.
yeah,
They're
that's still manageable anyways. Yeah,
I
yeah. So
completely agree.
yeah, that's okay.
How you communicate with them and teach them about design and application of what they want and if it would work, not work, and maybe marry your concept and their concept.
Yes.
So many.
So rather that, let's suppose a client says, I want my baby to like wear a certain type of clothes.
Yeah.
Let's suppose it's red, right? Now it's your job to tell them like,
Would this spice go with goods with that right?
yeah, it's it's fine if like your baby is wearing red color, but will you like carry your baby in this event where people are expecting green color because we are talking maybe more about nature and stuff? Do you think this will relate? Educating your client is like more important.
Important. And not a lot of designers do that.
Yeah.
I've seen very few design agencies doing that, like educating them or having even like a good ping pong conversation
So,
about it because they think that's a friction.
and sometimes your client love those kind of conversation. Then
They like
they
that.
yeah, they love that kind of conversation.
Like getting
Yeah,
involved.
because once you talk about their baby, I think they get involved more rather than we are just suggesting something.
I think even the culture is moving in this way. Like people like having giving more monologues than having like one-to-one conversation. Right? Even this
Don't like debates
हाँ,
nowadays that I see.
debate, conversation, whatever you call it. I don't want that.
Not ज्ञान but हाँ, not really the ज्ञान कि ऐसा होना चाहिए वैसा होना चाहिए, just showcase कि हाँ, this is what I have done, this is what I have done, this means this means this, then they can go ahead and choose the right
Yeah.
solution
So I
maybe.
think where the problem comes in, like let's suppose if a designer is like kind of trying to convince me, he will come up and say, I've done this. Now I have like problem with three thises. Like
Mhm.
I have problem with the first, second, and fourth one, right? Now when I kind of put up my thought, they don't have enough what do you call it, backing, or maybe conflict management is not working at their end so that they can come up with the right response to that, like my opinion or my whatever feedback I have. So I think that is something that we should be working more on, that follow up question. What should be the right follow up question when you are hit by some problem statement at that within that conversation, right?
That is true. That is true. What I have seen, like sometimes, you know, people ask very straight questions. Instead of asking sida question, you know, you have to frame the question in certain way so that you'll get what, you know, you want to receive from the client. So, you know, communication from that perspective, you know, maybe as an interview later on, the one thing that I see, you know, what question they are asking from me, I judge that person because, you know, you cannot ask question just because of you have to ask. You have some doubt, that's the reason you're asking. So even the level of question that you ask actually defines your level in front of clients mind. You know, they always watch you
And
very closely कि आप
actually,
क्या पूछ रहे
how
हो.
I have learned all of this. So there is this concept called second order thinking,
Mm.
where what you do, you need to think like one step beyond like what's the usual. And you can do it with the help of chat GPT, the
Yes,
CQ,
whatever to हो गया.
and say like these are my question. Like I'm questioning, these are my responses to certain question, and this is the way how I'm thinking. What could be the contradictory question, or what could be the challenge?
Different
Yeah,
possibilities.
this different possibility as well as how you can challenge me on these questions. And the way ChatGPT or DeepSeek gonna answer you, it will actually broaden up your mind. It will
Correct.
understand more perspective. Like, um, if I can give you an example, let's suppose let's suppose I'm selling my UI UX services to someone, and I'm saying like I'll do this, I'll do that, and I'll do this, right? I'll create wireframes, I'll create high fidelity, low fidelity, and all of those stuff. Now I can go ahead and mention this to ChatGPT and ask what else you should, you can, need from my end. And just understanding more perspective from like just ChatGPT and DeepSeek will give you like, you can add more things to your like initial conversation. So I think that's a good starting point where you start looking through very surface level thing and maybe go to the second order layering.
But I've seen when people ask questions, they just want to ask questions like you said, because I have to ask questions.
That's the mindset they have.
Into it.
Yeah.
I remember doing this with I worked with a lot of alcohol brands. So one of the alcohol brands, I had to help them manage this like photo shoot in Pondicherry or Goa, I'm not sure. I think there were two events, and we just send photographers. You just tell them what kind of photos you want
Hmm.
because those alcohol brands have different styles of photos or styles of energy in the photos.
Hmm.
So I'm like, sure. But we got these photographers in, and they're like, हाँ ऐसे photos है, I'll take them. I'm like, use कहाँ करना है उसको? Right? Because it is going to go on some newspaper
application
next
is
day.
yeah.
And the designer. So I got my designers, like their teams designer, but I was consulting at that time full time. I got them together and like, you guys are going to use these photos, right? What are the main things that you find when you use photos for designs that the photograph, like the frame should have been this way? They're like, oh, there is no empty space here. Or because we had to put text and logos on that. I'm like, great. What else? Like, we had to do a lot of manipulation. Let's say for Corona, I worked with Corona, the beer brand. So, like, there are no other yellow colors or yellow elements in the background, which would be really good because Corona is yellow and it's always good to have those specific colors in. I'm like, let's have props for that specific event that we are doing. So that background may we get those colors in. So even these small things really helped by asking questions on why you are using it, where it's gonna and
What is the final application
then
of
you
those?
can apply that way. So people, that's what I'm saying. People don't ask the right questions.
Hmm.
Or maybe they don't think enough before asking questions.
Yeah, I think they just jump in and they just ask anything in order to satisfy that client कि चलो उसको एक बार कॉल ले लिया हो गया अभी हमारा कुछ पूछ लेता हूँ.
No, someone said
Yeah.
the other day, design thinking is very stupid or something. Like it's like a very basic concept. I'm like, no. Or like networking. I don't believe in networking. I'm like, okay, sure.
ठीक है, it's your personal choice. So you guys have worked with so many clients. So what are the problem you face while working with the client? Is also
I think first and the foremost would be, and which is the biggest one, is like how you explain certain things, how you explain your services to client, because client is coming from a very different background. They have that business acumen, don't have that creative acumen. I think this is the biggest challenge that like we have faced. I'm not talking about like brands who already have like brand managers within their team. It's very easy to talk to brand managers. It's very easy to kind of align them with your marketing strategy, design strategy, whatever you're going to have. But when you're talking to SMEs, business owners, right? They they have business acumen, but they won't be very much comfortable talking about design or the services that we are kind of working about. So I think this is the most
so translating design into business so that they can understand.
Yeah, services.
Yeah.
Exactly what you would need.
Yeah, your service.
One analogy that I always give, if you have like a toothache, you go to a dentist. And if that dentist is directly comes to you like, कि पूरे दांत बदलने हैं तुम्हें, you'd be like, first question would be why? Like, I don't want to do this, or you'll run away.
मुझे तो एक ही में दिक्कत थी.
Exactly, or something. But that dentist doesn't come to you like this artery में problem है or something. That person will come to you be like, यहाँ पे I see this whatever decay happening and it has spread to the other tooths. So that's why we have to do this and remove this and then we have to give some time for it to heal and then we'll take the scan and stuff. So even they take you to every process. I'm like, why aren't we doing that?
Yeah, true.
I think again, one point or one direction is this also, like most of the designers are not confident enough to lead their client. So what is happening? Like client is coming to you, client is asking मुझे ये चाहिए, and you are just giving that away, and like they are like kind of going away with that. So like what worked best and what actually works best is when you are acting as an expert and you are telling this will work and that will not work.
Hmm.
And obviously you are saying that with some conviction, some fact and some figures. You need to be very much certain about whatever you are saying. You cannot be just shooting in the dark, but you should be acting as an expert. You cannot be a person who is like just operating a software. You shouldn't be a software operator whom client is utilizing to get something done.
Hmm.
Rather than it should be, you should be partnering with the client. You should be bringing your perspective, your understanding, your knowledge and theory and everything, and educating and even like kind of leading them like this is the right way to do this thing. Most of the client have this expectation कि मुझे लोगो एक दिन में बना के दे दो. I think
इनसे नहीं आंसर बना के देना चाहिए.
शायद पहले दिन
AI से बना के दे देंगे.
तो देन यू नीड टू सिट डाउन एंड हेल्प देम अंडरस्टैंड. एक दिन में आप लोगो तो चलो बना लोगे, बट आप उस लोगो का क्या करोगे, right? So you need to sit with them, you need to kind of explain them like how the whole process look like, what they will get as an outcome after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, like whatever time you're going to take. So you're not just asking for a logo.
Correct.
But another like contradiction you get on this, like, but I don't have budget for this. Then the simple answer to it, don't work.
Hmm.
Don't work with those clients.
Yeah.
Because you
Very
need
true.
to be very much like true to yourself. You should know your worth. You should be kind of
You
invested.
should also know the kind of worth that you can give to them.
Uh,
And उसमें से how much they can earn.
Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes I see people, they just, give a proposal very randomly without calculating the real factors. Though you're giving with a assumption, but those assumptions still need some parameters. You just cannot throw the number. So initially, when I started the agency, there are some work I want to outsource. I talked to few freelancers, and they सब कोई बोला है, I'll take 2 lakhs rupees. Somebody say I do in 50,000 rupees. Somebody saying I do it 15,000 rupees. So why there is so much of variation in this, and why, if such kind of quotation, if suppose people are throwing to the customer, how customer is going to choose the right agency is also a problem for the customer and problem for us also. So how you guys do it, like how you convince your customer when it comes to proposal, how you make sure that whatever amount you are giving to them justify the process so that they agree on it, and maybe there will be definitely some negotiation will be there,
Definitely.
and then it move forward. So
A lot of designers just accept the project that client gives without questioning it.
yeah,
Because most of the times when a client comes to me, this is the project that we want, and when I counter question them, do you have a brand deadline ready for you? Do you have some demography that is right?
No.
Whatever research, there's nothing there. And most of the times the what do you call it? The retainers that I've gotten or the consulting I've done full time for a lot of big agencies or brands and stuff, it is because we don't have these things. Do you also do this? And then I'm like, yeah, I do it. So we want someone to do it. And then I tell them, ki, bhai, you need all of these things to get here. Like, then I think we would need maybe 2 months for that. And then I'm like, if it ye karenge, then we'll have this next. We can't do this first and then this. Yeah, it makes sense. And we would need that 6 months and stuff. And it's different. I've seen a lot of people just throw numbers out there.
Yeah.
Ki, we want illustrations. ठीक है. And now?
So I'll ask about this thing. Like you mentioned that there are proposal for the same thing, like for 15,000 and even for 2 lakhs. So why this the wide range of like option when it comes to pricing?
yeah,
So I'm not saying go for the highest price, like whatever you are getting, but definitely consider like how much in-depth understanding they have. Whomsoever is kind of giving you at 15,000, they will do only surface level work, which even you can, gauge like how good or bad it is. But as you increase the budget, whomsoever is kind of, let's suppose quoting a lakh for the same service or same kind of a proposal, they definitely have some or the hidden nuances which you will never see, which you will never understand, and which in case if missing or broken will kind of, take you down in. So you need to be very sure, like if like again, client also don't understand like how to assess the right agency now, because they are not coming from that background.
true.
So it's always like so how we do it, like when we share a proposal, we draft a very like detailed proposal. So any proposal that goes out from a company has somewhere around 20-30 pages in it. It's not a one pager, it's not a two pager.
Correct.
You need to be very thorough about it. We do define how many team, what would be the team structure, and who is working on what, how whole timeline will look like. This is something
Deliver by the
ends of 2 week we'll get the first design. By the end of the 4th week we'll be,
Milestones and
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
So you need to be very thorough. You need to be and it took us like significant amount of time
time to
actually,
prepare it.
prepare a structure to a proposal. Like I said, we have 20 to 30 pages. A normal proposal is like of this size itself. And now when you're sending it across, let's suppose Mathri is a client and I'm sending a proposal to her of 20 to 30 pages. She's already occupied with all the business operation and business work. She already has
She's not going to read
she's not
everything.
going to read
Read everything.
like anything.
Anything.
They will only go to the last page, budget dikh jayega, okay, this is the budget. And even when you talk about budget, we have a proper bifurcation of each and everything.
Yes.
So strategy is different, implementation in terms of statics and dynamics are different. If it's a development project, so FED, backend, CMS, and everything is like we have kind of segregated, so that they can have a clear structure how where their money is going
Going
and
to-
how the amount is coming totaling up to this amount. And like I said, like the law mathri doesn't have enough time to actually go through each and every page. They cannot get into nitty-gritties. So there should be a detailed call where you are walking through them. It's just like a presentation.
We discovered.
You have to make them understand what you're doing in every section. And I think that's the only thing how we have closed bigger clients,
Hmm.
and why we are not able to close like maybe pitch the same strategy to people who are like very much fixated on the budget, is only because like we cannot justify budget against like the whole lot of services without understanding the services.
Hmm.
So you need to kind of explain this whole long list, then maybe it's easier to convince ki like itna paisa kahan ja raha hai,
Hmm.
right?
Very true.
But I've also seen whenever I work with agencies or through agencies or with companies and through companies as well as consultants or whatever, and whenever I've seen their mindset on when they hire agencies or studios for this specific thing, the one thing that I see is different than the budget only is amount of questions an agency asks, the first call or the second call that they have. Like the more questions they ask and the more right questions they ask, they're like, oh, at least that they have some questions for us, and they feel the trust key. This kind of a treatment will keep on going on when we start to work with them. Rather than ki, leave it to us, we'll work, because in that's like a blind side and you don't know what they're working on, right?
So it generally take us 2 to 3 call to understand everything, then we share across the proposal.
Yes.
Again, like she mentioned, one important aspect of like proposal creation and sending across is like having a discussion. You cannot just have a 30 minutes call and yes,
Submit the whole proposal. Yeah, it's not possible.
I have done that problem. Like I have done that.
Unless you know everything.
for the starters, everyone has done that.
Yeah.
We have also done it. आपको ये चाहिए? I ask.
Like a,
पूरा प्रपोजल फॉर्मेट बनाया चैट जीपीटी से और दे दिया बोला हो गया चलो सही है
but I think even throughout the years, even my proposals have changed so much.
हाँ.
My contracts have changed so much. And it keeps on changing, like client by client. So I feel that's
Yeah, I think every
that's-
client is different, so we have to form a proposal according to their specific first mindset and then the needs also.
I
Yeah.
think because of this, it's very hard to scale an agency.
Yeah.
You need to be kind of a very structured, driven thing when it comes to proposal as well.
So can you suggest the structure? Just the major
For the
component of
proposal.
yeah.
So what we have, as far as I can recall, first we have an introduction. We talk about ourselves, what we have done, and all of those stuff. Like for the starter, 2 to 3 pages. Then we have an overview what we understand, like for the project. We even mention this, like whatever we are going to mention in this whole proposal might have a 10% of deviation in terms of deliverables and even our understanding.
Even the cost.
Even the
Sometimes,
cost.
yeah.
So, and like, so what we do, we actually say like if there is 10%, 20% or 15% of
We accommodate. Yeah.
we'll accommodate within the same cost, because we also understand like
This may be happen.
things that we might have missed out. So we define that overview where we are like kind of reiterating what problem statement we understood. So they can also, come back and say like this is not the problem statement, or you are a bit deviated from the like what we were trying to actually see, right? So you get to have that problem statement. Then after that we have a scope of work, like what would be the deliverables, how it would be. So we are not getting to timelines yet. We are defining, like suppose it's a website project, right? We are defining these many pages would be the static pages, these many pages would be the CMS pages, and these many pages would be template based.
Hmm.
When you talk about CMS, you create one page as a structure and you kind of
Replicate it like
maybe
like a blog or article and things like that. Yeah.
anything of that sort, right? So you define these many pages. As per my understanding, we have 20-25 pages for like the first category. For the second, maybe we need to have 4 pages. For the last, it's unlimited, given that the content would be provided from your end. If you want us to work upon, so we ask this question: do you want us to take care of the content management part as well or not, right? We ask all of these questions upfront, and that's why we are kind of like, that's how we are kind of coming up with these like deliverable key list, right?
Hmm.
And within this, so we have defined number of pages. Now there will be couple of pointers talking about what third party integration we need to do, what we suggest when it comes to marketing, what should be there, Google Pixel, HubSpot integration, whatever, CRM, whatnot, right? Then we go ahead and even mention how we can, make things aesthetically good, right? And when I'm talking about this proposal, like we have different packages for this as well. So we have one structure package where what we will do, we'll actually go out and get some template for you. It's the cheapest package. So this is for basically Indian clients. I'll be very upfront on that. Indian client want things really quickly with the given budget, because they're more value driven.
Hmm.
Best value can be, got if you have already template in place. You got it. You just made it live on Webflow. You did some tweaking in terms of content, put up their logo, change some colors. do some maybe changes in the typefaces and everything, and bam, the website is up. And it's the cheapest thing. So in that case, we don't actually add those pointers of what I'm going to talk about. So it has subtle animation. We'll create your loading animation as well. We'll make everything customized as per your need. And I think there we have like couple of more pointers around on the technical side, what we'll take care on the on-page SEO, how we are going to optimize it, and so on and so forth. A lot of technical details are mentioned in this. Just after this, we have one thing called in scope and out of scope. So in scope, we have already defined a brief deliverables. In scope, we even go further talking about we will take care of the page load time animation. Time animation
Yeah.
load time, right? We'll even look into, we'll analyze how it is working and we'll optimize it further. And we can actually reach it to A plus, B plus, given upon the like whatever category we are working in. And we'll have a benchmark of whether it would be GT, GTX or GTM metrics or page insight from Google. Right. So we mentioned all of these details when we talk about in scope. Then we out scope, we mention more about what they like we won't be taking care of, like we won't be doing any photo shoot, we won't be going ahead with buying hosting, site plans and all of those things. You have to bear this. So we are kind of defining each and everything very clearly. Post this, then you will have a timeline structure. How many calls we need in terms of figuring out how many, days we need to kind of get started with
How
things.
much time you take for the discovery? Yeah.
And how much time do we need, to come up with the first draft. And post first draft, how things will flow.
But there, do you also write like terms and conditions, sir?
Yeah, it comes. Terms and condition is the last one.
Last.
The last one.
Terms and condition is
Yeah.
the last one.
Even payment terms.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
right.
You're like, we will, if you don't get as much feedback from you and if you guys are taking as much time, the time
that's come within the timeline.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
just put it in time.
yeah. So now what we are doing, we are like we have our like our design table kind of a thing. We have designed it as per our brand colors. So where we kind of graphically present like from this week to this week you will do this. It's kind of a Gantt chart. This week to this week we'll do this and so on and so forth. And like below this you have like couple of like pointers as well. Ismay like we have like there will be only 2 round of iteration per design. If you are going any further than that, like then we'll have a mutual discussion. So it's a hard thing to trap, but it's always good to present it upfront. Maybe if your relationship with the client is good, maybe you do the third iteration. That's completely fine. You have to be flexible when you are dealing with humans. You cannot be very rigid. You cannot be very much system driven.
System is for
इसके आगे हम
चार देंगे
I don't think so that works at all. But it's good to define all of this timeline. Like you have only 24 to 48 hours to kind of give us with the feedback. If there is any delay, then the whole process got delayed. So
those are the standard points.
within the timeline.
Yeah.
So we when go ahead and mention like how we are going to take the feedback. There is a proper logging sheet where you will log in. When you are logging in, everything will be kind of accounted and detailed out in that logging sheet. And based on that, we'll take up the feedback and we'll work upon the feedback. So the process is such that like client is also very much clear about like how they're going to give us the feedback. Though we take like feedback on over call, WhatsApp itself, like won't say most of the time, but there are cases. But majority of the time, it should be on the log sheet so that
Right.
everyone is aware. Like when something is coming in, is it a delay from the client's end or our team is kind of lagging somewhere? Everyone has every kind of clarity how things are functioning. So we used to use Linear, we used to use Notion as well for all of these logging. We even used Google Sheet to logging all of these feedback. So this is one crucial aspect. Then beyond this, you will have after timeline, we go to the proposed team. Now you talk about your whole team, like who all will be there. There will be a client servicing person who will be the mediator between client
Yeah,
and
account manager.
team, who will be kind of taking feedbacks and kind of nudging in within the team who all are there, who will be implementing what kind of assistance you can actually get. And after this there is a one what do you call it section where we mention two crucial things, that there will be a post launch support and it will be for certain days after the once the website is live, and there is documentation and KT, knowledge transfer. So the best thing about the Webflow and other these low
Who
code
does not need
tools
so much of effort.
that yeah, You don't actually need to be a developer to.
It is not like a UAT. Yeah.
Yeah. So we kind of mentioned what we will be doing in those two areas, right? For the post launch, what we'll be taking care of, and even if you talk about what do you call it? What did I just say? uh, Knowledge transfer and documentation, right? So within that, like what all we are going to do, we're going to record Loom videos. We get on a call, we give you a complete walkthrough of the CMS, how you can change content, and so on and so forth. And just after this, then we bring and talk about the pricing and stuff. And post this, we have Pens and Unleashed, which is again a, I think, 5 pager or 6 station thing.
Say
I think that
it is a most important part, but it's mostly fixed.
yeah,
Mostly fixed.
so you have to kind of consider every kind of terms and condition, intellectual property, if anything happen naturally, what like how things gonna be like, if anyone wants to terminate, how things can be, how we can, okay,
If you want to pause the project,
Yeah.
will it cost more, not cost more? Things.
yeah. So on a long list. So that's how like 20 to 30 page of a proposal is done. Am I speaking from quite something?
So that's good. It's
That's good. अब proposal बना लेना सब लोग ढंग से वरना project लेने के बाद लग जाएगी.
it's weird things, though, but
Yeah.
whenever people ask, right? I think you might also get this question, ski, send us a proposal, a draft, or do you have a
कल तक भेज दो.
template? But like from Menti specifically, ki, is there a template?
Particular
Yeah.
template to follow. No template for
It
that.
depends on you and your clients and how you take things.
There is definitely a structured
structure, sure. Skeleton, sure. There is no.
But you need to understand what all you can cater. Some people cannot cater post launch and like documentation and knowledge transfer kind of a thing. Some people cannot cater a lot of things that like we put in. We just try to be more value driven when it comes to call, and that's why the cost is justified. Right. अब कल को कोई website बनाने को कह रहा है and they are just saying कि like I only have a budget of 1 lakh, then we might like
Not
a proposal of 8 pages only.
And even once you talk with the client, you're very clear about the that particular person also. You know, okay, whether what kind of personality he is, and you can tweak the things according to that in even in the proposal sometime. You know, based on the brand that you're working, you have to update your terms and conditions according to the brand. Sometimes even the parameter changes, like risk factor for the some clients are more, but for the some clients there is no risk factor. So how you calculate the cost? The
Costing as
yeah parameter. What are the parameter you
KPIs.
yeah.
So KPIs are totally dependent upon
I'm just asking just because maybe a lot of people they don't know how to calculate the cost. So what are the parameter you consider while calculating?
I think
Even
that is very personal to every.
yeah, that's
So
true.
maybe some
It
client
depends on every brand as well as your agent.
Yeah. Even the capability of the agency. Yeah.
about the brand and the stage at what brand is.
Yeah.
It could be at a very initial stage where they are not even looking for KPI. They just want the website up and running. There could be a stage when they have like already running website, but now what they are seeing there is like people are coming onto the website, but they're leaving.
Mm.
They're leaving in first 5 seconds or 10 seconds. Then the KPIs will be very different. How we can maybe increase the session time. Like
Mm.
let's suppose like again, like I said, uh brand specific and stage specific things get, and then you can actually define KPIs and hence the cost. So
Because you won't charge the same for a startup or to Google,
Obviously. Yeah.
Google or something.
Correct.
Because the value also that they get from your work is different than the
Different.
value
Yeah.
a startup would get.
Correct.
So it depends on who you're working with, how intense the NDA is, how many people from your team is working, how many hours everybody is putting in. It's a lot. So it depends client to client. It depends time to time
Time.
as well as
Yes.
this project to project. So
So
review
it's never a one answer for this budget thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But
KPIs the still can be there. There be a list of KPIs that you can look into, but again, it is very much specific to like stage and
I've also seen a lot of agencies or brand working with really high or deep pocket clients for free.
oh god.
Because I understand where they come from, because it looks good on your portfolio sometimes, and if it's not a very difficult thing to do,
they're taking benefit of their brand name.
it's either or. If you can leverage that to get better clients afterwards, why not? Even that's like a payment.
There's nothing wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing.
I think everyone has done that.
Yeah. We have done that also in the beginning.
So if it looks good on your portfolio, it's gonna get more income in the future. Even that.
And sometimes you take a project at low cost, though ki there is no profit in this project, but you take it because it looks good in your portfolio.
Yesterday,
Yeah.
we did short a small snippet, and we were talking about like I charged 300 rupees for the first logo, and she did somewhere around 3,000. You can see the like delta, right?
Yeah.
But for the starter, money doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
If you're
I've
just
also done really free stuff for this years, but just because I wanted that in my portfolio. At that point, I just had passion projects, without any client friction coming into it.
Yeah.
So I wanted that friction so that people would take me serious in like real client that I worked with. So it depends.
I think real motivation when you're working with a client who is not paying you or not paying you enough is like you are successfully delivering something to the client.
Hmm.
And that's a very, like, I think understated motivational kind of a thing. But if I have done something successfully, it doesn't matter how much I'm getting paid. It gives me so much of morale boost, right?
Hmm.
It's not comparable to anything.
Correct.
And when you're starting out, I think this is the only way to move forward. Like,
See, there should always be something that you're getting from every work that you do.
ah,
So if it's not money, you should at least get some satisfaction or some experience.
At least get something out of
Something
out of it.
or like the client should be really nice to talk to and to work with or something.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
Or maybe you learn something from that project. Yeah.
but not bad things.
Okay, there is not lessons. So, since we are talking about business, let's continue with this on all itself. So, what do you feel about the current? There are a lot of talks going on around Gen Z at this point of time, and there are a lot of agencies they don't want to hire Gen Z because of the instability and whatever things are there. But I work with Gen Z a lot. I found both type of Gen Z, the people who are lost completely, but at the same time, I find some Gen Z like they are like very dynamic. They want to do things. You know, you have seen our studio and you see people work till 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and things like that. It's not about that we are forcing them to work like that, but they love. That's the reason they are doing it. Yeah. Uh-huh. So, uh, so what do you think about Gen Z in this current, marketplace? How they are going to position? Because Gen Z के साथ एक problem ये भी था ना कि COVID के time they take the education level that anyways the level of education what we have in India definitely is good, but the approach is different. It's not connected so well with industry. So they are anyways confused when they come to industry, and once they take the education while they are at home, work from home का आपको पता ही है. So same way work from education, how does it look like? So there are a lot of problems comes in when it comes to mindset of the Gen Z from the company perspective or industry perspective. What is your the point of view on that? Or so you want to pinpoint some of the key areas when it comes to this particular
for
topic?
me, I love Gen Zs.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
so I won't be revealing my age, but like anyone who's younger than me,
You're
Gen-
18, right?
Arey, yeah. Oh, fellow me.
80, I mean.
Wait, T was. I hate you. Okay. So, like I said, I love Gen Zs. The energy they bring onto the table, like even I'm started feeling old. The energy they have, I won't say the clarity they have, but
I
the
agree.
energy is so
So
important. The vibe is so
so
important.
important.
Yeah. I agree with you, like because of working from or maybe learning from home and not going to college, they lack a lot of professionalism within them. But they are so much open about learning. They are so much curious about new things. They are so much faster than us to explore these new tools.
Hmm.
So it's always like this, I believe. Like even if you see the speed at which our parents have learned things and like at their time, like how the technology has grown, I think they have kind of matched it. I think this time is for Gen Zs now. It's not
Hmm.
for like
For us,
millennials,
yeah.
right? It's not for us, right? Because the speed at which the technology is kind of like innovating and the speed at which Gen Z are learning, I think they are like matching it up. That's why new content creators are coming.
I think that's why we call it like they are like more digital first mindset
Huh.
because they have
They are very quick.
yeah, very quick on.
I have one of my uh, a person in the family, like he's 16 years old.
Hmm.
And he's so efficient with the phone. He's so efficient with all of these new tools and new softwares. At at 16, I'm not sure what I was doing. So talking about Gen Zs within the company, I think they bring in new perspective. They bring in new energy. We hired 2 interns, and if they are watching it, they know who am I talking about. And the kind of freshness they brought within the team, everyone of us like, wow, यही missing था लग रहा है. So I think it.
Well, energy तो चाहिए लेकिन हाँ
I
चाहिए
feel like Gen Zs have, because not just Gen Zs, I think any
the group of
younger,
yeah.
younger teammates, because even I know when I was just starting out in my office space, I just did like job for like 1.5 years or 2 years max. when I just started out. And at that time, they used to do that to me. Oh, she's like a younger mindset. She's learning something new. So I think that will always happen. Younger generation is always looked up lit for they have fresher concepts. They don't put themselves in a box because they're still hungry. But the one thing about Gen Z specifically, because I teach a lot of them, is the professionalism is in a weird sense they pursue that. Because most of the Gen Z that I taught, they see people who are influencers online and they're like, oh, Maitri to worked on her own as she wanted to work with whatever one plus or out of you, whoever she's working with. She didn't have any feedback. So why should I be getting feedback? Because they are surrounded by this kind of a content. So they don't know that feedback might come and we still do get
Something superficial layers are there. Superficial layers are there, mate.
superficial less would come afterwards.
Yeah.
In your after like you get 5-6 years
Yeah.
of experience
Experience, yeah.
or something. But yeah, I think
A fun fact about us is like we have the youngest teammate who is like kind of managing the elder people. So within our team, we like the person who manages like the marketing side.
Mhm.
She's the youngest among all of us, and she do it flawlessly.
Hmm.
Gen Z, full of energy. Uh, like definitely she makes mistake. That's totally like part
We also make mistakes, yeah. It's okay. Yeah.
does that, right? So like, but she manages everything. Like
Mhm.
how cool it is to like talk about it, right? Like we have one person who is the youngest among all, but now she's kind of taking care of
Everything.
all the management, taking care of the project are getting done on timeline, deadlines are met, the projects are like flowing within the timeline.
Mm.
I think it's just the direction and some clarity, like how they should be behaving within the organization,
Hmm.
what certain things they should do in certain manner. If they are well like aware of that fact,
Right environment if they get, yeah.
they can
I
actually pull it
really
off.
like when Gen Zs take stand on
That is a good point of it. Like
because you see
they take stand.
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of leadership position, a lot of leaders do we have whatever the senior positions has or we have, they are all are busy with the big pictures and stuff. So when Gen Zs come in and be like, we have to structure these things, or like they take stands in something, it's really amazing to see that.
Mm. I think Gen Z has a lot of potential. I think they need some direction in order to get
do
him.
and
Yeah.
it's-
We also
it's
need
just-
that direction when we get started also. Yeah.
Problem.
True. Correct.
I have one problem with not this thing, but it could be controversial. But
Yeah.
like a lot of Gen Zs are coming up and just speaking out and becoming an influencer these days.
when they don't have any experience.
Experience, knowledge, in-depth understanding. They are just working upon the take baits and they are kind of making things viral. I know whom am I talking about. I am sure people are like very much aware of it. They'll say, "I'll tell you how to create an agency within 30 days." They'll tell you like I'll teach
Making
you something.
millions of dollars also.
Yeah, I'll teach you something in 5 minutes. What took me 10 years.
Uh,
Like there's no replacement of the like hard work yet. Like
No, I see a lot of Gen Zs copying industry driven people or like really. So I've seen a lot of Gen Zs copying Chris Do or Michael Janda and all. They're retired now from their design agencies. They have like Emmy awards and stuff. They have sold their agency for millions of dollars, and they're like they're doing exactly what they are doing right now after retired and having like years and decades of experience. I see Gen Zs doing it now. Which when they don't have any experience in this industry. And like it's fine to learn. You don't have to know everything all the time. It's okay to ask questions. I have a 3D designer. I've worked with him for 3.5 years now. He's a very junior guy, has amazing passion, very Gen Z. But I always be like, please keep an hour for me to give me 3D lessons. And he likes it. And he can ask me question as well. And at that point, I'm very empty cup. Tell me everything. You can scold me as well कि ये क्यों हुआ नहीं मैंने बताया था तुम्हें sculpt करने के right be that and don't see a lot of Gen Zs doing that. They just want to tell things other than absorb because they feel then that would not be good for me to ask questions. You all learn, right?
this current generation wants everything like really quickly.
Set.
हाँ मतलब फटाफट चाहिए
Blinkit तो
हाँ ब्लिंकिट चल रहा है ना लेकिन लाइफ नहीं चलेगी ना फटाफट
Instant
हाँ
question for everything.
या
and I think so it's the problem from both the ends who are kind of trying to teach and the people who, because people want it, that's why they are trying to do it, and because of which in the longer run like things might not be as good for them as they are looking at, because at the end of the day you cannot skip like hard work. You have to put in certain amount of hours. I think there is this rule where you have to put 10,000 hours for a particular subject to master it, right? You have to put in. You just cannot consume content and say कि 5 मिनट में सीख जाऊंगा. I'll learn everything. Maybe you can listen to it,
understand it.
but your mindset won't actually adapt to it.
No, because I know a lot of design experts who are in their 50s now,
Uh,
60s now.
Mhm.
They are still learning.
hmm,
The amount that they are learning, I don't even see Gen Zs learning the 10% of it or asking questions 10% of it, which is like a different kind of a mindset. I feel I don't know how that works though.
So when I said I love Gen Zs, there are always two
Well,
part of Gen Zs. Yeah.
Energy perspective, and
Yeah.
everything, but when it comes to real work, the professionalism,
That's also there. That's also
It's a
there.
different capacity. now.
Huh. Yeah.
I think we have to translate the things in a different language. Probably, they have a different language altogether, and they speak.
Lingos.
And Gen Z mentee of mine, he wanted to ask questions on like mentorship sessions that I take. He so are you gonna scale and grow your studio? I'm like, no, I'm thinking of dissolving it for the third time in my life. He's like, why?
Cool Lingos.
Look
Scale your
down
energy.
upon. Don't you like the founder in your LinkedIn profile? I'm like, no. That doesn't give me any notification, like satisfaction of work that I've made. And I don't see, specifically in design, there is no right or wrong.
Hmm.
If you want to change your career, not just in design, in any time, it's completely okay to switch your life completely at any point of time in your life, if it feels right to you. But specifically in design, if you feel like switching, please switching industry, skills, mindsets, anything, do it. Don't think about the society like if I'm starting my studio and if I shut it down now,
What
लोग क्या कहेंगे?
doesn't matter.
Who cares?
Literally nobody.
And if they talk, let them.
Ah.
Yeah. I think one thing that I feel while working with Gen Z, they are like very emotionally.
No, but this problem is not just Gen Z. It's just a society problem. But
I see that in Gen Z too much because मैंने पहले ये सुनता नहीं था कि यंग लोगों में कोई डिप्रेशन और ऐसे कुछ होता है. It's not design topic, but I asked it at the topic about it. But I started seeing that a lot of people are talking about depression even in very young age, where they don't have any other responsibility, compared to what other people are doing in their life. So this is also like one of the negative perspective that I see. I think they are taking depression as a different way, or maybe just a jargon for them. But that word is like popping up so fast when we see it.
Frankly speaking, really don't have any opinion on that
same.
On that,
because, like,
you do you at this point.
yeah, it's way too sensitive of a topic to
Yeah.
me even talking about it. How I handle things. is
Generally have the.
Yeah,
Some people might not.
I have different ways of handling my problems.
एक हमारे ऐसे पॉडकास्ट में उन्होंने बताया था कि बिकॉज दे नीड एवरीथिंग सो फास्ट उनको प्रॉब्लम डिप्रेशन में डिफरेंस पता नहीं करता सर टाइम वी रिएक्ट एंड वी एंड तो दे ही इंडिकेट कि कोई एजेंसी को कुछ मिल नहीं रहा है मान लो कि दे आर लाइक इनपेशेंट एंड ग्रेजुअली दे कैन नॉट say anything to them तो उनको गुस्सा आने लगता है and they think they are not able to communicate वो गुस्से को डिप्रेशन बोलने लग जाता है
I think we can have a separate whole lot conversation around this. But my question would be, is it because of false hope?
I think a lot of false hope comes in that.
So
I don't have any answer. I'm just figuring it out.
I also have a lot many
Yeah.
questions in this direction. I cannot like.
And we have a lot of Gen Z in our studios. I spend good time with them. I
Uh.
and the way they work, I really appreciate.
I think the people who are actually within the process and learning from the process, they understand how things work. Like I said, I have very different way of dealing my problems. I have a very uh, unorthodox way. I don't know, but at the end of the day, like when I say my problems, I know how deep those are.
Yeah.
And how.
Or what works for you
Huh.
might not work for someone else.
Yeah. And
There's not-
till what extent my problems are like gonna help, not help, actually, take me to depression and those kind of extra sensitive things. But I have like a coping mechanism. I have that coming.
Everyone has to build that,
Yeah.
because nothing will be
Has a
there as
very
it is.
extremely different coping mechanism. So for me, if I get sad or depressed or angry or anxiety, whatever it is, if I am had like a chaotic brain
Mhm.
at that point,
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening. I need to calm down because of stress. A lot of people would maybe step back or coddle themselves for a little.
I go to sleep.
I to be like, let's push through because once I push through everything and get the work done, I feel a bit more calm. कि ठीक है, हो गया.
Oh.
It's behind me now. So not a lot of people would have that mindset, right? Because I
Yeah,
tried
yeah.
the other mindset with my therapist as well. It didn't work for me, but it worked for a friend of mine. So it
Mm.
depends. It's a very subjective topic. I don't think I have like
Very much. It's really no certain
yeah.
angle to it. Like there will be
मेरा suggestion would be like if you have any problem सो जाओ उठ
We
के देख लेंगे
मैं ज्यादा भाग जाओ यार को दिखता नहीं थी पर do somewhere and spend time.
but I do get it. It's a real problem. It's not a like something like everyone is goofing around. There are people who have like kind of mental attacks,
And
a
genuine.
problem, which is like it's good that people are coming up and talking about it. It's not something like
They're not hiding.
they're not hiding it.
One of the good part.
It's a good part.
They are very expressive when it comes to that.
Hmm.
Which is very important. Okay, you are the next one. So, Paddy, I think any other point that you want to suggest to the people, like any suggestion that you want to throw to our audience?
Suggestion in which direction?
I think one thing we both were talking about was how experimental you should be in the PNG, specifically right now.
From a career perspective,
Any perspective. Because
I
industry is
think
changing a lot.
that framework will work. Like you go to office from 10 to 5, even if not going to office. Like if you're working on something, work it from 10 to 5 or 7, whatever it is. Go back, work on something new when you are before sleep. I think everyone is doing that. Whomsoever is saying like, malab, they are not doing it and they are still aware of the new things. I think they are not doing it. Like they are maybe lying to us. So I think
honest with your
And have some time for yourself.
some
Yes,
days you
yes,
can skip it.
can watch movies. Yeah, have some time because I used to feel guilty for playing games. कि like, I could have done so many other things. As a freelancer, you're always on, or as a studio
Hmm.
owner, you're always on. And I'm like, "नहीं, I can't waste my time playing a game or watching a movie. Have that. Otherwise, burnout.
So that's an advice for me as well. But but
Otherwise,
I get
guilt
it.
will come.
Hmm.
Thank you so much. I love that overall conversation. I learned a lot from you from a perspective of, the way you draft the proposals. So there are some important points, specifically terms and conditions. What happened when the client paused the process. It is very important. When we have the काम करना ही है मुझे what you do. So those are the important small points what you have indicated is like amazing. Hopefully people will like it. Thank you so much for coming, and we'll record a lot of other podcasts moving forward.
Thank you so much for having. We love your hospitality. Thank you for having us again. I'm sure we're going to do it like even often. And
The event
well,
was good.
yeah, we loved it. And I think we are short of words, like how to appreciate your effort and your team's effort, everyone, like how they take care of us from getting us from the airport, like, and all of those stuff. It's so hot.
Me, it's like food is good.
So it's so heartwarming. Like no one is actually like kind of focusing on that kind of hospitality. Like we been to other places as well.
No, and even not just interacting with
Mhm.
them,
Ah.
interacting with their audience yesterday in the event as well as the other designers who are with us, like you and Saprashi and Atul and Kuntal and Mangesh. Really amazing. And it's very rarely that we all come together and spend so much time as designers as well.
We love doing it.
Thank you to Sapta. He gave us that game.
Ah, lovely game. Mafia. Ah, lovely game.
You are a good god.
Thank you.
so much
Thank you.
for this. It was nice talking.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
और recording करते रहेंगे साथ में.
Sure.
You have a lot of connection of this. I think this
Ah,
is
yeah.
the second one. है ना?
Yeah.
My second.
So we can have a podcast set up with this.
I think all
This-
was also.
Yeah. Mic testing.
One copy.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.